Okay, so I've been thinking about what to do for my channel, and I think I'm just gonna be like a bunch of different stuff. I'm just gonna do whatever, because that seems to be a good idea. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, all that. So I decided to just uh, go with what was ever on my mind at the time, and I've been thinking about it, and I thought, I might as well throw my 2 cents in to the whole Saitama versus Goku fight because, I wouldn't really say I'm an expert in anime, but, you know, first off, this shit gets tons of views, most likely. And second off, I think no one's ever actually really done a realistic thing. Like, I feel people are just like solely Saitama wins or solely Goku wins. It's easy for either side, regardless. Which I don't think is what happens. So, to run it down, I feel like I'm going to try to do this in the most realistic way of if they met possible, Like if they met each other and they decide to fight. And also, I have no idea how much editing I'm going to put in this, so I'm going to explain everything in detail just in case I don't add pictures and stuff like that. So, let's start with the obvious. A blitz match. Like, they go full throttle from the beginning. In that situation, I feel like Goku wins because I feel like at the start of the fight, he is just the stronger opponent. He's faced stronger people. He's done more feats, everything. So I feel like at the start of the match, Goku is, if it's a blitz match, like full throttle from the start, Goku wins. But realistically, that's not how the match is going to go because first off, that's not how Goku fights, and second off, that's not how Saitama fights. They both fight the exact same way. They start at like a base and then they slowly work their way up because both of them want to have a thrill when they fight. They don't want a boring fight. That's why neither of them go full throttle. And also because of the surroundings, what they could do to their surroundings, but mostly it's because they want a fight. They don't want oh man, I just flicked this dude, sneezed, and he's dead. So realistically, if they're fighting, it's not going to be immediate one of them wins and one of them dies. Also, neither of them are really killers. Saitama only really kills because he's never really faced anyone that's actually survived his punches. Well, until like recently, and I don't know if I've caught up to like the most recent ones, but besides for Garo, which is someone he didn't even want to kill, no one else has been able to survive any of his punches, and except for actually Boris, and he ended up getting himself killed. So none of them really enjoy killing people, and I don't think it would be their aim to kill each other. So it's more of a spar, but it's like a fight spar. It's more serious, but also fun to them. So let's go. Who would most likely win? And I feel like there's a couple of factors that go into this. Considering at the start of the fight, I feel like Goku is the stronger fighter. But it doesn't really matter if they're both starting at the same point. And we've discovered through recent One Punch Man, well, not recent, but of the more recent issues of the manga, he grows exponentially when fighting someone at or above his level. So the question is, does Saitama have a cap of power? And the second we get the answer to that, we get the answer to the fight. Because In reality, because of that, it's basically Broly if he doesn't have a cap. Um, but if he does have a cap, depending on what the cap is, Goku wins. That's the like the most detrimental factor is what Saitama's cap is. Like Goku's already been basically determined to not have a cap because he's constantly rising and finding new forms. We haven't found Goku's cap yet. And we also haven't found Saitama's cap. And both of them have been known to grow exponentially in fights with stronger opponents. So, most likely, but at the same time, Saitama has been shown to grow faster than Goku. So if Saitama doesn't have a cap to his power, then Saitama will eventually win the fight. Goku might eventually, if Saitama just has an extremely high cap that's way above both their current power levels, but Goku has a higher power cap, then maybe one day Goku would win. But at the moment of both their current power levels in that fight, Saitama would win if he doesn't have a power cap or he has a power cap way higher than both their power levels at the moment. But if his power cap is lower than Goku's full power, then Goku wins, Saitama loses. I think that is the most realistic version of the fight. Because most people are just like, oh man, Saitama would just one punch Goku, or Goku would just one punch Saitama. I don't think either of those is ever going to happen. Like, Goku doesn't even one punch Krillin, and he could do that easily. Like, super easily. He's never actually gone full throttle at the beginning of the fight, and Saitama tries to hold back as much as possible just so he can punch people more than once. So, that's the most realistic fight that I think is possible. They spar really, and they both slowly build up power, and depending on Saitama's power cap or just his power cap, that determines the fight entirely. There's not really much other determining factors, but actually there is one. It's the question of what would Ultra Instinct do in the fight, because we've actually never actually gotten like a multiplier for how much power is boosted for Ultra Instinct, because the way they describe Ultra Instinct is just it's your body moving on its own, which wouldn't really be a power multiplier, but it showed him taking down someone who before that moment he couldn't even scratch. So that is a question of what that would do, but it's not really enough of a like really important factor of the fight that would actually matter or affect the outcome of the fight that much. Like, it would, but it wouldn't, because in order for it to happen, that also is dependent on Saitama's power cap, because he'd have to have a stronger power level than Goku and push him so far that he'd want or automatically activate Ultra Instinct, because Ultra Instinct has been shown to activate on its own if you're pushed that far. If you're pushed far enough to where your body just shuts off your mind and you start moving on your own. But if he is that strong, we don't know either, because we haven't actually seen anyone that's given Ultra Instinct Goku a challenge. We've only ever actually seen people that have lasted long enough for him to come out of Ultra Instinct. But while in Ultra Instinct, even then he doesn't just end the fight immediately, which he could easily do, because he's just shown to be playing with people when he's in Ultra Instinct. But those are the questions that basically determine the outcome of the fight, you know? The Saitama's power cap, how Ultra Instinct affects anything in Goku's power level, which we don't really even know. And that's about it. But to give my final answer, just because I've talked about a couple of things. The determining factors of how the fight goes. If Saitama has a low power cap, if he has a low power cap, he loses. If he has a higher power cap than both of their current powers, he might win. And who knows if Ultra Instinct gets activated? I certainly don't. But if I had to give my answer, I think I'd have to go with Goku at the moment, just for the sheer fact of he's done more. Like, he's just done more. Like, he has more feats under his belt, especially considering they're kind of two really similar built characters. So at the moment I have to go with Goku, but if anything changes, I'd be down to see the fight. But until anything changes or one of them gets like a higher status, or we get like a more determining, this is their final, like this is where they'd be at the end of their series, well, basically until we get like a power cap for both of them, we won't really be able to tell who would win the fight. Anyway, that was Ghost. I don't know what I'm gonna call this, or if I'm gonna do more of these. It really depends on what I get, like the feedback I get for this. But if I get good feedback, I'll probably do more of these. Potentially, I don't know what I do. I'd have to see your guys' comments. But I think it would be, refreshing for some of you to just get a unbiased answer from a guy that's somewhat, I've got like 1 foot in the door for the anime community and 1 foot out of it, because I'm not just solely watching anime and I'm not really a weeb. But I know enough to get by, and that's what's important. So, if you guys want to see more of this, let me know. Hopefully this gets tons of views and tons of everything, because I really want to start making money. Donate the player, if you think, oh man, this dude just wants money. Yes, every YouTuber wants money. So, anyway, peace out. Goodbye. This is Ghost signing off.